This caterer that reached out to me this morning is charging $20 per person. He just did an event over the weekend where he fed 50 people, and the price he charged them was $1,000, $1,050, $1,050. He pulled up the invoice and showed it and looked at it to tell me. So he's charging $20 a person, and I just kind of sat there like, dude, are you serious? His signature item is his smoked ribs. He has one of those huge, massive smokers that you haul around with your vehicle. And I know about the hours of preparation that goes into making a batch of ribs, and just the ribs by themselves, that price didn't seem right. But he also does crab cakes and other seafood, and so he did a full catered event, and he's charging $20. That's
Wait, so you're telling me that crab cakes and ribs were on the menu, or just ribs this time?
no crab cakes, ribs,
Oh my.
sides, other stuff too.
Okay, well, oh, I didn't realize. I thought when you just started off saying ribs, that's all he did, and then he does make crab cakes. Well, he's definitely cutting himself short. I mean, just by you telling me the ribs and the crab cakes, and then he had sides. Did he have beverages? Did he have utensils? Did he have plates? Did he set it up on a chafing rack? Or your time is valuable. Your time is money. And so, if you're not being compensated, I think I gave the example the last time we spoke, where I broke everything down, as far as what at the end of the day that particular chef was going to be making, and it was $10 an hour. I mean, for you to do all that work, pour in all your effort, love, labor, are you really worth only $10 an hour? You could go to McDonald's and get that job.
And that was the main thing that I pointed out to him when he told me that price. Excuse me. I said, you you haven't accounted for your time at all. You haven't assigned any value to your time at all. You may have, covered your food costs with that payment, but you didn't you didn't pay yourself at all. And
Mm-mm.
he thought about it and he's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm wondering, how do you even give a price that doesn't incorporate you paying yourself? But this is something that so many people do, thinking this is what you have to do to get the job. And those are not the jobs that you want. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Lindsay Ruffin, cooking show advisor and marketing strategist. My co host today is Cheron Reed, owner of RX Catering. Cheron's been running RX Catering for 18 years now. So if you have any questions about how to run a catering business, how to grow a catering business, how to start a catering business, there's no better person to ask than Cheron. There's nothing about a catering business that she can't tell you, and that's why she's here to answer your questions. This is a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, go ahead and start typing those in the chat and we will address those as they come up. Thank you for joining us today, Cheron.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. Um, you, I don't know if you have questions yet, but I don't know if you want me to do a brief intro or no. Okay. Just for everyone out there, if you don't know and you haven't heard my story, Lindsay just said that I've been in business for 18 years, but I haven't always been, well, out of the 18 years, yes, in the food industry. But prior to that, my background was pharmaceutical sales for 10 years. And I'm a proud graduate of Florida A&M University, where I actually have my degree in economics, business economics. And so a lot of people ask me, how'd you get into catering and the food industry? And it was just by chance. Actually, I always wanted to do it, but I was so focused on building, my corporate background and climbing up the corporate ladder that I just wasn't focused as I should have been back in early 2000s. And so I actually got laid off from Pfizer. I was with Pfizer for 10 years and then just have been doing this catering thing ever since. So my story is not, the norm as far as a lot of people are in the food industry. They've had a job, a restaurant, or they've done some catering. So my story is a little unique, but that's what makes it so interesting. And I think that that's the reason why I'm able to help so many people get and do what they want to do in the catering industry or food service for that matter. Small business owner, we're all the same. So currently, I have a staff of, let's see, 15. It's probably going to change slightly because three of those were interns or summer help, and so we'll just use them throughout the busy season if they can throughout their school year. And so I have a team of, well, it's dwindling down, but a core team that's been with me for the longest person, I would say at least going on 10 years. So I know people have questions about, hopefully, about staffing. How do you find good people? How do you keep them? That's a whole nother discussion too.
While we're waiting to see if anybody has any questions, I have an interesting example from just this morning. Yeah, I had a caterer, a local caterer this morning contact me, and long story short, this guy's charging about $20 per person. I asked him what size events does he normally cater, and he said, Chef Winston, that's my dude. That guy, y'all need to check out the Chef Winston Cooks YouTube channel if you haven't seen it. He's one of my students from, was that this year? Yeah, that was this year. Super high energy guy, fantastic, super knowledgeable chef. His show is pure entertainment, and he's right there in the comments. So ask him questions about the process. How does the show work? How does my training work? Like, everybody, we got folks here that can answer any questions you have. So again, it's up to you whether or not you walk out of here with information that you didn't have coming in. But anyway, this caterer that reached out to me this morning is charging $20 per person. He just did an event over the weekend where he fed 50 people, and the price he charged them was $1,000, $1,050, $1,050. He pulled up the invoice and showed it and looked at it to tell me. So he's charging $20 a person, and I just kind of sat there like, dude, are you serious? That's, I don't cook, but I know what it takes to cook, like, for individual, and then to feed 50 people for $1,000. And what he does, his signature item is his smoked ribs. He has one of those huge, massive smokers that you haul around with your vehicle. And I know about the hours of preparation that goes into making a batch of ribs, and just the ribs by themselves, that price didn't seem right. But he also does crab cakes and other seafood, and so he did a full catered event, and he's charging $20. That's
Wait, so you're telling me that crab cakes and ribs were on the menu, or just ribs this time?
no crab cakes, ribs,
Oh my.
sides, other stuff too.
Okay, well, oh, I didn't realize. I thought when you just started off saying ribs, that's all he did. And then, he does make crab cakes. Well, he's definitely cutting himself short. I mean, just by you telling me the ribs and the crab cakes. And then he had sides. Did he have beverages? Did he have utensils? Did he have plates? Did he set it up on a chafing rack? Or I'm just, help me a little bit with what else, because the only sides I can imagine him serving with that would maybe get him in, maybe, would be rice. Ribs alone, if you're looking at, he charged them $1,000. Ribs alone would probably take up. I'll just give you my rib price, and that's just with two sides. I'm charging 18.95 approximately. And then for 50 people, so right there, you're almost at $950. So a lot of times what people don't understand is that's the price that I advertise. And that would just be for ribs and a salad and one simple side. So if he's adding on crab cakes, that's easily another $1,500. And then I don't know, I don't think he's factored in the time that he actually takes to go deliver. So what a lot of people don't always do and factor in are is your time, your expense, i.e., gas that it takes to get to the location, the time that it takes to set up um, any type of catering event. And then if you have to have some type of help, are you compensating them? That's not factored in either. And then also, one thing that where I missed the boat many years ago, many years, because I've changed this over the years, is that if I am setting up an event and if I'm doing any type of setup with chafing racks, full service, but not, or a setup with a breakdown, then I'm automatically adding in gratuity. Just think about if you're going to a restaurant with a party of, I think now most restaurants, it's a party of maybe 6 to 8 plus, they're automatically factoring in gratuity automatically. So why is it that we as caterers or we as small business owners don't do the same? So that's one thing that I always coach and tell people, that you have to do that because your time is valuable. Your time is money. And so if you're not being compensated, I think I gave the example the last time we spoke where I broke everything down as far as what at the end of the day that particular chef was going to be making. And it was $10 an hour. I mean, for you to do all that work, pour in all your effort, love, labor, are you really worth only $10 an hour? You could go to McDonald's and get that job.
And that was the main thing that I pointed out to him when he told me that price. Excuse me. I said, you you haven't accounted for your time at all. You haven't assigned any value to your time at all. You may have, covered your food costs with that payment, but you didn't you didn't pay yourself at all. And
Mm-mm.
he thought about it and he's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm wondering, how do you even give a price that doesn't incorporate you paying yourself? But this is something that so many people do, thinking this is what you have to do to get the job. And those are not the jobs that you want. This was a job where at that price, he paid more for that event than they did.
Mm-hmm.
And those are not the kind of customers that you want. So what's the first step you would recommend for this particular caterer?
So for him, what I would do is if he's arbitrarily just coming up with I don't even know where the $1,000 came up, where he came up with that, because it doesn't factor in probably half of what he's doing. Right. So what I would suggest to him is take it back to ground zero. Figure out how much his food costs initially, and then you're going to factor in, just think about, like for me, for example, if I'm ever working an event, if I'm ever setting up, automatically and I'm actually underpriced, not all the time, but I'm underpricing myself for just basic drop off sometimes, is at $50 an hour on the as a minimum, just for me, an hour just to show up and start setting up everything. A lot of times the time frame that it takes for you to do a full service event, I factor in minimum 5 hours. So right there, if he was doing the same thing, he would automatically just be 250 just for the service component with just him, not factoring in any food, but he needs to take it back to just going and starting from ground zero first. And then, is he using, I don't know what the quality of the products. I'm sure he's using top products, not canned vegetables. That's where I distinguish myself from other people, is that I won't use canned vegetables. It tastes different, doesn't turn out right, it doesn't sit well on a chafing rack. So all those are factored in. If you're using fresh or frozen versus canned, then that's going to be a little bit higher expense. So you want to factor that in too. And then what about paper products? Is he leaving plates, cutlery, serving utensils?
You're leaving all kinds of paper, the green kind.
Right, exactly.
I don't know what he's doing other than losing a ton of money.
But you know what? It's not uncommon. I mean, as you said before, a lot of small business owners, I remember back in the day, I started in 2007. Would I have thought to add in a 20% gratuity? Mm, no, I wasn't thinking. I was saying, you know what? I'm a small business owner. I'm new to this, and I just want to accept any type or all business. And back then, it was just trying to get my foot in the door of a lot of people. But hindsight is 2020. And if I don't care if I was starting again at ground zero, I would definitely, take the advice that I share with other people. And that's why I say don't wait until you're 10, 15, 20 years into the game to start doing some of this stuff because people will pay. Trust me.
Absolutely. Speaking about what not to wait 15 years in the game to do, talk about the big change we implemented for you probably 3 years ago to get you
Mhm.
out of manually processing orders.
Oh, absolutely. So, uh, oh gosh, you just, well, anyways, there's a story behind that. So, I was doing a lot of paper, handwriting paper, invoices. It wasn't an easy system for people to. I had a website, and I think everyone that has a small business should have a website. But I will tell you, hands down, I get more compliments on my website today or within the past, I would say 4 years. It's been about 4 years, Lindsay, almost five, that we, made this big change. I had a website before, but hands down, I get more compliments. Oh my gosh, your website's so nice. It's so easy to use. Well, what was that made it easy to use? Well, one, I had a website where people could, well, now I have a website where people could easily go to, click, put in the number of what they want, go to the cart and check out. And then there are some things, if you need to add or adjust, you could do that. There are pictures of the actual entrees or food items that I'm serving. We know we are visual people just in general, just in life. And so if there's something there that they can visually see, uh, then that's going to be more enticing for them to actually purchase. Now, that whole process, oh gosh, I mean, it was a killer, but it had to be done. So, what that looked like was I had to prepare every item on my menu and make sure that it was ready to be photographed. And that was a process. But at the end of the day, has it made a huge difference? Absolutely. So these are the things that a lot of small business owners don't think about. And that's why, like, I've been working with Lindsay for, well, about almost 5 years now, 4 or 5 years now, pre-pandemic, a little, right, Lindsay? So, or it was right around the pandemic.
It was only because of the pandemic I knew you existed when you were
Right,
doing the first responder meal campaign.
right. So, in that short period of time, I mean, we've accomplished a lot. So, just think about had I had this 18 years ago when I first started, where would I be now?
So what Cheron is talking about, because I don't think she
Oh,
put
I
a
didn't
fine
say,
enough point on it, is we're talking about using a catering specific, catering business specific order processing system. So the one Sharon's using right now is called Flex Catering. There are other ones, but when we first started working together, she was running. She was using basically it was Squarespace and creating custom shopping carts or checkout carts or whatever using Squarespace. And I see lots of variations of people doing that: Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, whatever, taking a general purpose website and attempting to turn it into an ordering website for a catering business. And that never works well. It's just not designed to do what you need it to do. Whereas you can get a purpose built website and purpose built catering ordering platform, rather, that functions as a website, and it has all the built-in functionality that you want. It has order limitations. It has, if you might have a list of 10 sides for people to choose from, and you only want them to pick two. Well, if you're doing that, if you're creating that on your own website, it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to enforce people not making the wrong type of order. Whereas in a platform that's built specifically for processing orders for a catering business, that's just the default function. You tell it how many sides somebody should be able to choose, and it limits them to those two sides, and that's it, which eliminates the problem with processing orders manually or doing it with an ordering system that you've created yourself out of a general website, a general purpose website, is almost every order is going to be wrong. They're going to try to order something that they can't order, a combination that is not a legal combination based on your rules. Nobody's going to want to order the way it's supposed to be ordered. And you have to then deal with each one of those versus when you're using a platform that's designed to process these orders. There's no way for people to place an incorrect order. They have to order according to the guidelines that you stipulate. You can put order limitations like, oh, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. We're about to start her Thanksgiving marketing campaign. As any caterer who's trying to go after the high end of the market, you need to start that in a couple of weeks. But we're going to set a limit on how many Thanksgiving dinners can be ordered, because she only wants to make a certain number of turkeys. So whatever that number is, that's the limit. You program that into your ordering platform, and then you don't have to worry about it. Once the limit is reached, that's it. The system automatically stops taking orders. Your ordering deadline is automatically enforced. People can't place orders that are after the deadline. The delivery or pickup instructions, all of this stuff.
Holiday
closures, all of these things that are necessary to run your catering business. There are applications, ordering platforms designed specifically to support your catering business. And the earlier you adopt one of these programs, one of these platforms, the better off you are. You take yourself out of manually processing orders. You take yourself out of all of these incorrect orders. You take yourself out of having to manage all of this paper with, people texting you, emailing you. Some people are calling you, leaving a voice message about what their order is. That's all manual. It just takes a ton of your time. The sooner you automate that, it's not even like hiring an employee. It's probably like hiring a couple of employees to take all of that responsibility away from you and deliver a better experience for your customers as well. It's because now you're giving them the Amazon experience. They go to your website. There's all of these high quality images of your food. They pick what they want, whatever quantity, they add it to their cart. They check out. You receive the payment, and you also receive your list of what you need to prepare. So your kitchen report. And so everything's just easier for both you and the customer when you incorporate a proper catering business automation platform into your business. So that's something that I would recommend for anyone watching who is early on with a catering business, like the gentleman we're speaking about earlier with the $20 per person fee. That was part of the conversation that we had this morning. I'm recommending him a different platform that he needs to put his business on so we can build him up. He's gotten off he's gotten off to a start. Not the best start, but he got started, which to me is more important than anything, because too many people just talk and think and analyze, but never actually take any steps forward. So I'm proud of him for putting out a price, getting a customer, and delivering on the service. Excellent. You give me something I can work with now. We can build it up from there. So, but for everybody else listening, learn from others' examples, and you don't have to learn those lessons the hard way yourself.
Mhm.
Looking here in the chat, looks like we got a whole bunch of really knowledgeable people here because no one has asked the question yet.
I can't believe that.
Let's talk about Thanksgiving, Cheron. What's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks?
So, in the next couple of weeks, I will be determining my price. It's kind of hard right now to, I know that I'm going to increase my price point from last year. Every year, we add more turkeys. I think last year, I think we ended up doing 140 fried turkeys, close to 150. And every year, like I said, we gradually increase. So, unfortunately, at this point, the price of turkey isn't out, but I have a good idea of what it's going to be. And I will factor that into my overall price I'm going to offer. You
Why?
looks like why?
Because we
Why?
we should be out of. We've had this conversation before a number of times. The price of a turkey should have no impact on the price of your Thanksgiving dinners.
It does, but it doesn't. So
How?
I just want to I just want a good idea. I mean, of because the price of food increases every year, so
Yeah,
gradually
yeah,
add.
but your
I know.
price is not. So what you're describing is cost plus pricing, cost of food plus some percentage or some formula or whatever. And we do not do cost plus with your Thanksgiving dinners, do we?
Okay, we don't. We don't.
Okay.
We don't. We
Okay.
don't.
So if a turkey is 50 cent a pound, 60 cent a pound, 70 cent a pound, what does it matter?
We're basing it on what the experience. So what Lindsay is referring to is that, let's see, maybe 2 years ago I started off, I was underpriced, and then so we increased the price gradually. Last year it was a price that I thought, I don't know if people are going to actually pay. I knew some would, but would we lose any business? And we did not. And so, within the next couple of weeks, I'll be starting to ramp up some social media, email advertisement, marketing, and getting the word out that it's fried turkey time or Thanksgiving dinner time. And we'll just start from there.
The reason that I'm pointing out that the price is irrelevant for you is because that's the only reason you can start advertising now. We've separated the cost of food from the price of the product that you're going to deliver. So you don't have to wait to find out how much turkeys cost this year, because that was in the beginning. That was the challenge with doing the early marketing. You were saying, I don't know how much the turkeys cost. And once we got out of the price of the bird being related, impacting the price in any way, you're going to be profitable no matter what the price of the turkey is. That's what allows you to do the early marketing to go after the premium customers who are willing to pay the premium price. That means you don't have to wait until you figure out how much the bird costs. So this is what we're doing is trying to teach folks here. Excuse me. What we're doing is trying to teach folks how to get out of the cost plus pricing that so many people, because that's the dollar store pricing. There's people shopping based on price. Whoever gets, if I get a turkey for 70 cents a pound and somebody else gets theirs for 65 cents a pound, so they're charging a little bit less than me, and then those customers will go to from one vendor to the next one for the smallest price difference, because all they care about is the price. It could be $10 cheaper and they'll go, yeah, I'm gonna save $10 with this one, so I'll go there. You don't want to be in that competition. That's the worst place to be, is one of a number of people that customers are looking at, and they're just going to choose whichever one is the cheapest. You don't want to be in that at all. You want to just take yourself out of that, go after the premium audience who $10 means nothing to them. They don't care about a $50 difference, $100 difference. It's really about who presents the best solution. Whose Thanksgiving solution looks like is most likely to give me what I'm looking for, the experience that I want for myself and for my guests, and whatever that costs, it costs because it's Thanksgiving, it's holiday, it's family season. We spend this is the time of year that people open up their pocketbooks and spend money. Like, from Thanksgiving through Christmas, people are spending money like it's their last year on earth. So if you can't, that's just what it is. If you can't sell a premium offering during that time of the year, particularly a premium offering that's specifically related to fellowship, bringing people together, what the whole holiday seasons are about. If you're not taking advantage of that opportunity to charge premium pricing, you just leaving. You like the guy charging $20 per person for catering. You leaving a ton of money on the table because you're going after the wrong people. So we're going to start your Thanksgiving marketing in
September.
First week, probably right after
Labor Day. The first couple of weeks, that's what historically we've done. And then simultaneously, not simultaneously, but as you all know, the Christmas holiday comes right afterwards, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas. So all that will be factored in too, because the menu will change slightly. And all these menus that I'll be working on are going to be so similar to previous years, just with a couple tweaks. Mm-hmm. So just getting the graphics as far as the flyer, all of the those small details in place, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So when people are finishing up Labor Day celebrations and holiday, what have you, I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, people they're already advertising for Halloween. So, or even Thanksgiving. I think I've seen some things out already. So it's really not too early to start this whole marketing process for the holidays.
no, not if you want the best customers. The best clients do not wait until the last minute to plan their events. They want their stuff to be right. These are affluent people. They're hanging around other affluent people. They're just accustomed to things being done a certain way to a high level. They're not waiting until the last minute to
Right.
find their vendors. And the way you become a vendor to these folks is you start putting out your announcements early. Just remind them, hey, Thanksgiving's coming up. You know you're going to have people coming over, and you know you don't want to cook. So let's go ahead and let's get this menu selected, get your order placed, and now you don't have to worry. You just know that on Thanksgiving Day, you're going to have a fantastic meal with your family, and it's not going to take you days to prepare it. Just start getting that message out early. Give people plenty of time to take a look at you, do their due diligence, make sure they want to, you're somebody they want to work with. If this is, because you should always be attracting first-time customers. And then once you get them, if you do a great job, they're going to stay with you every year.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had fried turkey customers, probably the same ones for 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah. The hardest part of growing your business is customer acquisition. That's the most expensive thing. Once you get a customer and you do a good job, they stay. They stay. But you got to do the marketing. That's the number one thing that small business owners do not understand from my perspective, the importance of marketing. I just see so many people who think marketing is like this thing that you do when you have time or when you feel like it. It's this extra thing that you have to do. No, marketing is the thing. That is the job. When you run a business, marketing is your job. It is as important as any other task you do. If you run a brick and mortar where you have to physically open up the doors every day somewhere, marketing is at that level of importance. marketing is how you're opening your doors to the world. Doing your internet marketing, doing your posts on social media, whatever it is you're doing, it is something that must be done with the same consistency as opening your physical doors on a daily basis. If you don't show up for marketing, no customer's going to show up because they don't know you exist. So that's another takeaway that I want folks to have during this holiday season. If you are a caterer or a private chef, you should be booked up. If you're not booked up, you should be at least starting to have those inquiries. You should have some annual customers who are coming back on a recurring basis. But if you're just getting started, you want to start getting some bookings now. Like the people that want to have a party in November, you shouldn't be in November trying to mark. Like all of those, you should be booked up. Have some bookings now. And if you don't, it's because you haven't been marketing. There are, again, premium clients who they're busy people. They're doing just like you. But by doing them a favor in reminding them, oh, yeah, my wedding anniversary is coming up. My big wedding anniversary is coming up this year in December or September or October or whenever it is. Or, you know, my kid's birthday, they're turning 21, they're turning 16, they're turning whatever age, they're turning 30 or what. It's your responsibility to remind people of these joyous events in their lives that they want to celebrate with other people, which always means great food. And by the way, we're here to help you make sure that you have a wonderful menu that everybody at your event can enjoy. And if you're not doing any vegan stuff, I would advise you to incorporate it, whether you start learning how to cook it yourself or you partner with somebody who provides vegan cuisine. But you just need to be in the mindset that at every Thanksgiving table from now on, there's some people there who don't eat meat, and you got to offer them something besides a salad. So for anybody watching who happens to be in the niche of vegan cooking, you really should be promoting that during Thanksgiving. There are people who they fashion themselves as the world's greatest host. They want everybody who comes to their home to have a great time, and they would be mortified at the thought of delivering a poor experience to somebody by having a whole bunch of food that they can't eat. So these people will be open to hiring you to provide a vegan entree for Thanksgiving, or you can get paid by teaching people how to prepare vegan entrees. That's another thing you can accomplish for those who are already hosting a cooking show. Do a series on you can do one video with a number of dishes, or you could do, I would recommend probably a series of videos, Thanksgiving themed, where you're offering vegan options for Thanksgiving. Delicious, tasty, not basic vegan options, something that's, you know, not just a salad. That's
Only not just a salad.
yeah, those that would be a video series that would be of great interest to somebody. Like they might pay somebody to make everything else, and then for the vegan entree, they might just do that part themselves because they only need to prepare enough for a couple of people, for example. But there's just so many opportunities out here to help people, to use a cooking show to help people, to for those who are have a catering business, you can use your catering business to make people's lives better by, you know, the food that you prepare. But to do that, you have to do the marketing because they can't hire you if they don't know you exist. So yeah, I'm looking here. I still don't see any questions, Cheron. So we're gonna wrap this up. You got any final thoughts you want to share?
No final thoughts, but since you don't have questions, I'm sure you could check out, maybe subscribe to my cooking channel, my cooking show on YouTube, Cooking with Cheron on YouTube, and maybe you can pick up some things there. I don't know. But a lot of the things that Lindsay pointed out as far as vegan, there's a lot of vegan recipes on there. And then I do talk about frying turkeys, so that's going to be coming up soon. So, hey, check it out. Since you don't have any questions today, maybe you'll generate some questions and put those on my YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. And remember, you can change your life with a cooking show as soon as you decide to. When you're ready, I'm here to help.
Thank you.